Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for being here, Director Chopra. I think we're discussing really important topics. Let me go back to your opening statement, if I can, for just a minute. In your opening statement, you noted that credit card debt is increasing now north of $1 trillion. Auto loans are increasing north of $1.6 trillion. Mortgages have increased dramatically. The median mortgage in the United States over the course of 3 years went from $1,200 to $2,400. That's significant. It's a major concern. The driver of that I think should be noted is largely the inflationary policies put in place by the Biden administration. In particular, reckless spending, war on energy, including paying people not to work after the pandemic. And so as we look at the drivers of increasing debt for Americans, I would encourage my colleagues on the left side of the aisle to join us to work to bring down inflation. That's outside your wheelhouse, but I wanted to put that out there because I think it's a really important point to your earlier points in your opening remarks. Let me jump into earned wage access, which gives individuals access to wages that they earned, improving the connection between pay and work in a more timely manner. I think a great opportunity that's out there. You commented in the press that CFPB is re-examining the 2020 guidance that maintained that EWA was not a credit product. Can you give me an update as to when you expect the review to be completed?
So I'm hoping we can be able to answer more of the questions that we've been getting in the next few months, and specifically, there has.
You expect in the next few months that
Yes,
that rulemaking process will be concluded?
Well, I think we're going to try and provide additional guidance on it. The original guidance that was provided a few years ago covered a pretty narrow set of circumstances. It's essentially ones that were free. So earned wage advance, earned wage access, some of it is with the employer, some of it is separate from the employer.
There's significant development in the
significant
product space.
developments.
So you're expecting in the next few months that you'll be coming forward. That as you are going through that process, I'd like you to make sure that we're not reducing consumer access in that space. Let me follow up on my colleague Andy Barr's earlier comment as it related to non-sufficient funds in your review of that. I would echo his comment that I think it's important that these rules are enforced prospectively and not retroactively in light of the previous guidance from CFPB. If I jump to one more topic here, the proposed rule that the Bureau's new supervisory powers, in particular as it relates to digital apps in wallets, to dive into that, you noted in your remarks that consumer complaints is one justification of the proposed rule. And if you could give color as to how much complaints rose and over what period of time.
I can't recall. As part of that rule, we're supposed to look at risk using a multi-factor analysis.
No, I understand. But if you could get back to me on the complaints, how they came back. Do you know, is there a portal at the CFPB that someone would issue a complaint, or do you know how the CFPB would receive those complaints from individuals?
Yes, we receive them through our website, through phone and others. We receive thousands each week.
Okay, and then an analysis is taken into account on how many complaints are resolved, or no?
Well, certainly we look at all of those factors, but with respect to that proposed rule, that's one issue, but there are many, many other reasons for the rationale for that proposal. It really focuses on the consumer payment apps.
No, I understand. I just, in the proposed rule, it's noted that one of the justifications for this is a rise in consumer complaints. If there are consumer complaints, I'd like to know. I think that that's a valid thing that we should be thinking about on this committee. So I'm just looking for some clarity and color as to what the rise in consumer complaints is. And so I understand you don't have that off the top of your head. That's fine. But if you can come back to me on the written record as to what that is in a numerical analysis.
Yeah, we'll answer questions for the record and we'll provide numbers of where we.
Let me do one final piece here. Last year when you testified in front of the committee, I asked if your speeches, press releases, and blog posts are reviewed by attorneys. You responded that it's sometimes the case. You were kind of open to the feedback that we had because I think your words have very serious implications for consumers and markets, and I remain concerned that some statements that you have made are more in light of shaming businesses into doing what the agency wants, rather than going through a traditional rulemaking process. And so I would just continue to encourage you to engage legal counsel in the review of your posts on blogs or at other locations, because I do think they have market-moving influence, and I'm concerned that that's outside of the functional rulemaking process. And appreciate you being here. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back.